A big part of the American story and its emergence as an influential world player was its manufacturing prowess. Jobs in the industry peaked in 1979, accounting for 1 in 5 American workers. Now the industry only employs about 1 in 12 workers in the country. That change ties back to companies that were attracted by the seemingly lower costs of labor, facilities, and materials that other countries offered. However, the U.S. is still the 3rd largest manufacturer in the world. Those already adopting these technologies are thriving, realizing new efficiencies in the face of current challenges. There's the pressure to produce and still remain profitable with razor-thin margins. So, how do companies produce more without sacrificing quality or profitability? For U.S. manufacturers to seize this opportunity, they need to engage with robot manufacturers and systems integrators who design specific solutions for their needs. To start this journey, we're at FANUC America just outside of Detroit, talking with some of the experts of the largest robotics manufacturer in the world. First, let's hear from Michael Chico, the CEO of FANUC America. Mike, I'm so excited to be here because to me, we are in the epicenter of the future of manufacturing right here.
Well, I tell you, this is the place to be. We are here in Rochester Hills, Michigan, our headquarters. We're surrounded by robots. This is our customer experience center, and this is where we get to find people like you, the latest and greatest in automation technology.
You have to develop robots for an incredible amount of applications out there, increasing those efficiencies all across the country. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's amazing how many different spots that people use robots today. Everything from your traditional welding a car together to milking cows in an automated dairy farm. I mean, we have a lot of different talented engineers that focus in different segments. We focus in the automotive area, we focus in automotive components, and then we focus into a very broad area called general industry. And within general industry, it gets broken up into hundreds of different sections. And then we have system integrators that focus in each of those areas as well. And so it really is a broad spectrum.
Well, right now, the need is dire out there. It's no longer about you convincing people about the need for automation. They're coming to you going, we need something, help us out. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right, Terry. It has changed over the years. You know, when I first started, I've been in the business for over 20 years now. And when I first started, it was a little bit like that of, let's take the most dangerous application you have and the most repetitive application that you have and really focus in that. And we still do that all day long. We really want to handle and automate some of the dangerous and dirty and repetitive applications. But today, it's different. There is a shortage of labor. There is a shortage of skilled labor in manufacturing. And we're really bringing the best of both worlds together. We're taking the manufacturing engineers that are there and the manufacturing workers that are there, we're upskilling them to teach them more about advanced automation. And then we're able to provide equipment that handles all the tasks that either are unavailable or unwanted from the workforce.
And so what do you see as the future of manufacturing?
Yeah, I see, so where we sit today from a supply chain standpoint, I see more and more localization of manufacturing, and that's going to happen globally. And I see more customization, where now we expect to have a car that I can pick any option I want and any color that I want. And so automation really helps with that, where as a dedicated automation, you only have so many choices. When you have flexible automation, which is what robots offer you, your choices are really unlimited.
And it really is limitless. The applications are truly limitless out there of where we're going.
That's absolutely true. It's limitless. Every day I come into work, I'm shocked with what someone comes up with next. I walk through these labs or I talk to some of our great people and I say, wow, someone's using a robot for that these days? And every day I'm shocked, so it's great.
Now we have a feel for how powerful the robotics are that FANUC builds, but how can a company as big as FANUC America serve its customers locally? Let's find out. So James, you have regional facilities all across the country to help service your inline consumers. Can you tell me how those facilities help you do exactly that?
Our regional facilities are there to service our local customers. So these facilities aren't as large as the headquarters here, but what we are typically doing at all the regional offices is training. We have demonstration capabilities there, we have engineering, we have sales, we have support. And it's to get to those customers and support them in those regions, which are going to then typically be the small to mid-sized manufacturers.
Now, we were talking about the change over the last decade to be where you're having to make people understand the necessity for automation. That's changed completely. Can you talk about that and why that's happened?
Yeah, no, that really is a fairly significant change that's taken place in the last 8, 10, 12 years. You know, our discussions used to be with customers, why automate, the justifications of automation, certainly the benefits of automation. We don't really have those types of discussions anymore. I think everybody recognizes that they need to automate, and now customers are coming to us with more of the discussion being, how can you help us automate faster than what we've been doing before? These companies are really looking to us to help them automate and get it done faster. You know, we have a whole network of systems integrators across the Americas and across the world that can help them, and they come to us and say, help us put a plan together, help guide us. You know, how do we get our workforce trained? How can you help us with onboarding of workers, and then bringing qualified systems integrators in that can do their application.
So we can see how a company as big as FANUC America can serve its customers locally. But how do they train them to actually use the robotics? Automation is exploding around the world right now, thankfully. There's a whole new field of education that has to happen out there, and that's what you do. Can you tell us more about that?
It is. It's exciting. One, what's going on in industry, what's going on in education, how we need to align those things. But if you ask any company, any employer, any CEO, any president, one of the number one concerns they have, the thing that keeps them up at night, is their workforce. How are they going to get upskill their current employees to understand all this new technology? How are they going to attract people into this industry? And then what are the skills of those individuals going to have, and are they aligned with what they're doing within their four walls of their building or their business? So those are the areas that we really focus on. And I'll tell you, it is really exciting. We've got almost 1,400 schools around the country that we've partnered with. And part of that was driven by the need in industry. So our customers said they can't find enough people. Our integrators that put this technology into industry couldn't find enough people. So we're really responding to customers. And then we decided to be very proactive as a company, and we decided we would partner with education. So we said, let's give to schools the latest and greatest technology, all the curriculum, the e-learning, the hardware technology, robotics, the CNC. We'll load it up with the latest software. And then we train and certify the instructors, and FANUC pays for all of that. It's really been a remarkable program, because now we've got teachers that understand the technology, understand the curriculum and how to use that. But the better part of all of that is that the students are coming out of either a high school, community college, or a university program trained the exact same way that industry needs them trained, and earning the same credentials.
Now that's amazing. That's an amazing contribution to get out there and do that. I've said 1,000 times that manufacturing and manufacturing is the strength of the country. Automation is the future of manufacturing, no question. You're not only building the robots at FANUC, but you're educating on automation, how to use, not these robots, but the whole arena. So the FANUC Workplace Development Program is top-notch. Next, let's see how we can apply any automation solution to a manufacturer. So Dick, FANUC makes robots with all kinds of these amazing things that they can do. How do you actually get them out there into the inline consumer?
Yeah, so I agree. Our technology is fantastic. We've got some great innovations in our product, some great capabilities. But really, if you look at our robot, it doesn't do much by itself. You know, it needs a tool on the end of the arm to interact with the customer's process. It needs to be interfaced to surrounding machinery and processes in the factory. It needs to be properly safeguarded. The workforce needs to be trained to interact with it. So there's so many steps that go into properly integrating a robot. Again, not only into the manufacturing process, but integrate with the people who will be responsible for operating it.
You bet. You're really the link between what we see here, between the robots FANUC makes and the facility itself. You're the link with all of that, you and your team.
That's right. Our integrators are, that's their expertise. That's the value they bring day in and day out. They understand, we look to them to understand their customers' processes, to speak the customer's language, to understand the customer's pain points, and address all of those with the robotic system that they kind of build with our robot as the central building block, but they bring all the rest in terms of the system integration and delivering that end solution in the manufacturing environment.
You bet, and that can be whether it's a huge manufacturer to the mom and pop shop, and teach them how to do that as well, right?
Yeah, and there's great success stories at both ends of that spectrum, right? I mean, yeah, everybody understands that the automotive folks have been using robots for decades, and they've had real great success with it in a whole variety of processes, from welding to painting to sealing to dispensing to material handling, on and on and on. But those mom and pop shops who are, you know, either recognizing on their own or almost being forced by the current labor environment to start to investigate automation, there's some great successes there.
That goes back to, we hear time and time again, automation kills jobs. Quite the opposite. Automation, bringing that manufacturing in, makes jobs.
That's exactly right, and I've seen that time and time again throughout my career. I'm personally aware of very, very, very few instances where, you know, the robot came in and a person left. It's more about freeing up that person to do higher value added tasks, letting the robot do the, you know, the 3Ds, the difficult, the dangerous, the dirty. We let the robots take care of those and free those people up to do really high value stuff, and let the robot take care of the mundane stuff.
I want to thank the team at FANUC for giving me the tour and for showing me the ins and outs of the robots they build and how manufacturers can use them to solve current challenges. Next up, we travel to Spokane, Washington, to the headquarters of Pearson Packaging Systems, an authorized FANUC systems integrator. They build automation solutions to meet the productivity needs of individual manufacturers. So make sure and tune in for episode 2 in this series of Made in America.